Welcome to the Modern Manifestation Podcast. I'm your host, Bree Brown, a business mindset coach, entrepreneur, and a top competitor in a male-dominated industry. I'm a native Texan, the youngest of all brothers, and a lettuce-hating, wine-loving, curses-like-a-sailor recovering perfectionist. I've spent over a decade building my commission-based career, and my life's purpose is helping other women achieve the same multi-six-figure success I achieved before I was 25. I have a passion for helping women with mindset, money, and manifestation skills to help every young woman realize her full potential. If you're looking for vulnerable conversations, professional development, inspiration, or even a kick in the ass to get you motivated, you have come to the right place. Thanks for checking out the Modern Manifestation Podcast. Now let's jump right in to today's topic. Hello, everyone. I know it has been a really crazy week for a lot of us, so I hope that you and yours have been able to stay safe and healthy so far in the new year. Personally, I am having a fantastic day today because I am so jazzed that we got snow. I am born and raised in Texas and still live in Austin today, and we only ever get like sleet. So I've actually never seen real snow before, and I'm pumped that we finally got some today. And it's like real snow, guys. Like this, it's coming down in sheets. We're getting like 2, maybe 5 inches at some point. This is just like, if you are seeing all your Texan friends blow up right now on social media, I am one of them. I can't get over it. It's like fluttering from the sky, shit you see in movies kind of snow. So I took a huge part of today to enjoy this experience for the first time, and it was magical. It was everything that I've seen in movies and more. And I finally understand what people mean when they say that snow makes everything better, because I feel infinitely better today than I have the whole week. And I felt so good. I wanted to come in here and record this podcast episode because A, I need to let my clothes dry because I had no idea snow was like really wet. And B, I have so much excitement running through my veins and I needed a creative outlet. So here we are. And I'm so excited to jump back into today's conversation and continue our money mindset series. And yes, I decided to drop the word mini because it was just like too much. It was too much of an alliteration. I wasn't about that. So last week we jumped into our first step of the series, identifying and transforming your limiting beliefs about money. In today's episode, we're continuing that conversation to help you become an energetic match for money. Today, we jump into having a positive relationship with spending money, or as I like to say, releasing money. This goes way beyond your limiting beliefs. This goes into how you feel about every aspect of money, spending it, giving it away, paying bills, having debt, etc. If you want to manifest more money, you need to be in flow with money to be a match to that frequency. And when you're in flow, that means that money is going both ways, in and out. We're not going to talk about the in part though, because I feel like it's pretty easy for you to have a positive relationship with that. Being in flow is not one-sided. Otherwise, it's not a flow. It's more like, I don't know, like a leaky faucet. And we know that money just doesn't work this way. So we're going to focus on the out part, the outflow of money and your mindset. It's easy for us to write down the amount of money we want to manifest and practice visualizing it. And that is probably what most beginner manifestors are already doing. But what about examining how you feel when you're not getting the money, but giving it, spending it, releasing it? How do you feel when you pay bills, when you're paying rent, have to buy a new laptop, have to buy a new phone? How do those things feel? Most of us will cringe paying for the things that we think we need because that money is something that could have been spent elsewhere, right? Maybe on something you really actually wanted. Like, oh crap, I have to pay rent today, so I guess I can't get blank or invest in blank. Or maybe you broke your phone screen, which is a really common one, and then you feel compelled to fix it, but you really hate having to spend the money to do that over using that money for something else. I'm curious if any of this is sounding familiar to you. I know for me, I would have been like hitting the nail on my 20-year-old self because this would have had me avoiding eye contact earlier on in my life. So think about how you feel while paying bills. Is it a negative or positive experience? If it's negative, we still have some work to do on that money mindset, but it's okay because honestly, this is probably most of us. I'll never forget in my early 20s, anytime it came to paying bills, I would wait to the absolute last minute to do so. Like if the deadline were on the 23rd of the month, I would wait until this 22nd at like 11:55 p.m. and I would just procrastinate doing it all month long. And then I would stress about it all month because I'm sitting there thinking about the fact that I'm procrastinating it. And then I would finally actually go to sit down and pay my bills. And because I was in my early 20s, I didn't have like a whole lot, right? I had my car payment and a credit card, rent, utilities. I mean, that's like 4 things. It didn't take that much time. It's just I had such a negative association with paying bills and getting rid of money and having debt. And a huge part of that goes back or went back to my limiting beliefs that we talked about in the last episode. However, even when you've gone through those limiting beliefs and you've started to work through how to cultivate new beliefs and new core beliefs that actually serve you, you still have some of those old habits around doing things like paying bills. And so that's what we want to focus on today. Anytime you're handling money, you need to be in a positive state. You need to establish and continue a positive relationship with it so you can continually invite it into your life. Would you remain friends with someone who constantly complained every time you had to leave or every time you left after hanging out? Probably not, because I think most people would agree that that would be extremely annoying and draining, right? If every time you're trying to go out the door, someone's like, oh my God, you really have to leave? Like, oh gosh, it's just so annoying. It's really not convenient for me. Like, probably not cultivating a super positive relationship with that friend. Well, your friends and your money are all made up of the same kind of energy. And what your friends don't like, your money doesn't like either. So stop complaining every time your money leaves. When I think about being in flow with money, I like to imagine that money comes to me just like waves in the ocean, flowing in and out constantly, getting bigger with each crest. And when it comes crashing onto the shore of a beach, I know that a portion of this water immediately recedes back. Not all of it, just a portion of it, so that it can swell into a larger wave for me. Imagine this as your money. A portion of it recedes so that it can come back larger and more abundantly for you. But step into the knowing that it will come back, into the confidence that it will come back. And when you trust in the process and you release from a state of positivity, you're laying down new framework for those positive beliefs and those positive manifestations to come. Step into the abundance. This mindset is critical if you want to be in flow with money. If you're complaining about how much you're spending on the necessities, you're reinforcing a negative relationship with your money. The universe isn't picking up on the nuance between spending or releasing versus receiving. It's not thinking, oh, she doesn't want this kind of money energy, like paying bills. She only wants this kind of energy, like receiving a bonus. Money is money, and when you're in flow, you're in flow, and that means money is going both ways. And when you don't like paying bills, you're telling the universe, no thank you, I don't like money. And I have to question you, do you like to be able to pay for things or not? Because if the answer is yes, then you need to make sure that this is always a positive experience if you inevitably want to manifest more. Because being able to pay for things comes with some of the release. And you need to learn to make that release and reframe it into a positive. And as we were talking about, taking it a step further, the universe doesn't differentiate between releasing and receiving. So if you're constantly complaining about bill paying and telling the universe that you don't want any more of that, it's not hearing no bills. It's hearing no money. If you are coming from a place of scarcity when you spend money, you will receive scarcity in return. So I ask you again, what is your relationship with paying bills, having debt, buying necessities? Are you saying no more bills, no more bills, no more bills? And then wondering why you're not able to manifest more money? Well, you're telling the universe, no bills, no money. Got it. So always be mindful about this practice. To the universe, being an energetic match with money means being a match with all money. To receive money, you will also have to release money. And isn't that why we're all trying to manifest more money in the first place, right? To spend it or to invest it in some way. If you cultivate a negative feeling anytime you're releasing your money, that's getting you out of alignment. And that is reinforcing a negative relationship or strain on your monetary abundance. The universe doesn't care if you're spending money on rent or a vacation. You can't enjoy one experience and complain about the other. Your relationship with money needs to be positive all around. You can't just nitpick which parts about it are positive and which parts about it are negative. Doesn't work that way. Money energy is money energy. And while we're at it, here is a note about language use. Notice I said releasing money instead of spending. That is a great positive shift to bring to your word choice usage instead. See what words and phrases you can swap out. When talking about money, it's okay to say things like, the value of the item does not currently align with my wants. But remember to stay away from more scarce phrases like, that's too expensive, or I could never afford that, or why does that cost so much? Shy away from using any words that you consider negative, or any phrases that you consider negative. If you've listened to some of our past episodes, you've probably heard me talk about negations and how important your words are, and how important negative phrases can be as well to unmanifesting things that you want. So be extremely mindful, even when it comes to something like releasing money. And a lot of us just innately have these negative connotations with certain words. And so if you can say debt and bills and payments without having any sort of clinch or negative experience in your body, great, continue to use them as long as there's no negative feeling around those words to you. If there is a negative feeling about those words, try to find a positive reframe instead. So instead of words like debt, bills, payments, maybe instead try investments, opportunity costs, released gains, outflow money. Get as creative with this as you want, as long as it is a positive reframe for you. The words are as important as the energy behind them. And if the energy that you embody when you say those words is negative, avoid them and find words that have a more positive meaning for you. So at this point, you're being more mindful about your language, you're working to be positive every time you handle your money, but how on earth do you start cultivating a positive relationship with bill paying or really any debt? This question gets asked so much because it is a common issue, and I want to make sure that we can at least start talking about this. Although this is probably going to be expanded upon in many other episodes later. There's just so much to this topic that we're only going to be able to get into the basics or the foundation of how to do this. But don't worry, we'll have many spin-off episodes where we really dive deep into this discussion. But when paying bills or paying off debt, or again, as I like to say, when handling outflow money or previous investments, work to reframe your relationship with paying that debt off or releasing that money. Find ways to make this a positive experience for you, something that is enjoyable. And it's probably going to take some time, and it's going to be a routine that you continue to practice over and over again until it becomes second nature for you. And that's okay. Manifestation we're in it for the long haul, right? We're not just looking for these really quick fixes. So when you're going to have a day where you are paying off bills, I highly recommend that you spend one day a month where you plan to do this. And you need to work to reframe your relationship with this process. So you can do this in many ways. Like I said, plan one day that you know you're going to do this. And on that day, start thinking about all the joy that the things your bills pay for or bring you. Remember, bills are completely elective and chosen. Hear me out. You don't have to spend money on anything. You don't have to have bills. You don't. You probably think you do, but you do not. You didn't have to go to college. You didn't have to get a phone or a car or an apartment. In all honesty, you could go off and live in a forest somewhere and forage for food. No one is stopping you from doing that. In reality, you do not need to pay for a place to live, a laptop, a phone bill, nothing. There were thousands of years where humans did not have any bills, right? And you don't have to have them either. You choose to have them. And you choose to have them because you enjoy the things that they bring to your life. So reflect on the joy that these things bring you. And think about how abundant your life is to be able to have these things. You don't have to have shelter, but you're so thankful and grateful that you do. You don't have to have a cell phone, but you're glad that it allows you to connect you with your loved ones. So you gladly release money for those stable investments. Does that reframe help? It always helps remind me that I'm choosing to invest in these things in my life because they're things that I want. Where else can you apply this train of thought? A huge part of manifestation and getting into alignment is owning your decisions and becoming an active participant in your life. You and the universe are co-authors in your life, so you gotta start acting like it. This includes owning your reactions to things, your actions, your thoughts, your behaviors, your perceptions, your emotions, everything. If you took an action earlier on in life that led you to a current outflow of money, one that I hear a lot is student loans or, student debt, at one point, that was a conscious decision that you made. and you felt compelled to invest in it for whatever reason, and it was completely the right decision for you to have made at that time, or you wouldn't have made it. So own that. Don't complain about it. Say thank you and think of all the reasons why this was a good learning experience. And release. Remember to say thank you to your money as you pay your bills or as you release that money. Thank you for the ability to invest in shelter. Thank you for the ability to connect with the world with this new laptop. Thank you for the ability to have water and electricity this summer. Thank you for the ability to stream Netflix on Fridays. Whatever it is that you're paying for, say thank you, because its presence in your life is not guaranteed or truly needed. It's wanted, and it's wanted by you. And since you want them, you are able to invest in them for yourself. So be grateful for that opportunity, because not everyone has these luxuries. So say thank you to the money for this opportunity, because every bill is a luxury. Every bill is proof of the abundance in your life, the things that you already have. This mindset and this knowing is how you begin to reframe your relationship with debt. So when you've set a day to release your money for the purpose of meeting these monetary obligations, start getting into a space of gratitude and thankfulness for all the things that you're so lucky to have. Come from a place of abundance, right? Because we always want to be in that positive state when we go to handle our money. So a great idea is to conduct a gratitude exercise right before you begin releasing money. I already talked about all the things that you can be grateful for leading into this. What are the investments you've made that you're grateful for? What joy did they bring you? What amazing thing happened because you have those things? And on this special day, maybe you also devote time to thinking about monetary abundance. Maybe this is when you bring out that vision board and you start thinking about, how amazing your life's going to be when you get all the things that you're manifesting. So maybe this becomes a day you end up looking forward to because you have so many money meditations and you bring out your vision board and you're doing these gratitude exercises. And maybe you mix in some things that just really make you feel fancy and really good. Maybe you handle all of your self-care on this day too, because that makes you feel abundant and wealthy. That would be a fantastic way to be in a great mindset and to be on a positive frequency when you go to handle your money. And as a quick example, as a way to feel fancy, I keep seeing all these ads on Instagram and Facebook for those gorgeous, they're like these luxury robes that are see-through, but they have fur lining all of the edges and humongous sleeves. And they have these gorgeous models cascading down staircases in high heels while wearing them. And they have Farrah Fawcett hair. And they come in all kinds of colors and 100% look like something Martha May out of The Grinch would wear, or maybe something you'd see on Breakfast at Tiffany's. I swear I have a point to this. Every time I see those robes, I'm just like, oh, wow, that bitch is fancy as fuck. That's just where my mind goes. And so I associate that particular robe with wealth or feeling fancy. And I always laugh at myself because I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get it. But I actually don't really want it. It's just I love the feeling that it gives me every time I see it. But if you see something like that and it gives you a feeling similar to what I'm talking about here, maybe you can get something that you associate with feeling wealthy or abundant, and you wear this special item only on your releasing money days. Maybe you channel your inner Miranda Priestley and own the feelings she would have while releasing your money. Step into the feelings of someone who'd be like, I'm a boss-ass bitch, and here I go to release my money. And then you go off and you do all your self-care stuff. And then you've already done some gratitude journaling, you've done your meditations, you've done some visualizing, and maybe this is just your manifestation abundance day of the month. I like that. I'm going to post that somewhere. Whatever works for you. Find a way to make releasing money a positive experience for you. And if it's a day that you're dreading, you really need to start working on that. Handle the limiting beliefs like we talked about in the last episode, and then find ways to work on the routines and the habits you have around releasing money. Why is it a negative experience for you? And then find ways to make this more enjoyable. And really get into the right mindset before you go to do it. Wait until you can get there. So maybe you do your self-care stuff beforehand to get in a place of peace and love. Whatever you need to do. But it's so important for manifestation that you are on that positive frequency before you go and touch your money. And as an additional note, I don't care if it's when you are paying bills. I also don't care if it's when you go to pay for something at the store. Anytime you grab your wallet, you grab your credit cards, your cash, your checkbook, whatever it is, anything that represents money in your life, take a moment, take 2 seconds if you can, get on that positive frequency, and then reach for your representation of money. because it's about continuously reinforcing that positive relationship and having that respect for your money. And the more you start to do that and cultivate that positive and respectful relationship with money, the more it's going to want to stay around you. The more it's going to want to come and hang out and be more abundant with you. If you have that mutual respect and you're in flow with it, you're only going to become more abundant. And if you do come up with another idea that helps you get into the groove while releasing money, please share it with me. Shoot it to me in an email, DM me on Instagram. I love learning new tips and tricks to share with others. And if you do share one of these creative ideas with me, I will gladly share it on a later podcast episode or online. So to recap today's tips, get into energetic alignment with money or in the flow of money by creating a positive experience with both receiving and especially releasing it. Reframe your relationship and mindset around debt, bills, and spending money by adjusting your vocabulary, your mindset, and your routines. Step into the identity of someone that enjoys this process. Always come from a place of abundance, love, and joy anytime you're handling your money, anytime you're releasing that money. Your money wants to be shown appreciation and respect. Treat it like a friend. Thank you so much for tuning in to part 2 of my money mindset series. I can't wait to check back in with y'all next week to continue this conversation as we jump into the third part of this series, which will be, do you understand your money? Have a fabulous rest of your week, and I will catch y'all next Monday. Until then, go out there and manifest some miracles. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this podcast, hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with new episodes. As always, we would love it if you would share this episode with friends and family who could use the inspiration. As a new podcast show, we would really appreciate your honest feedback so I know what you like and what you could use more of. As a thank you for leaving us a rating, we will send you our 7 weekly tips to create space for abundance. Make sure you screenshot your review and email it to us at hello@themodernmanifestation.com so we can send them straight to your inbox. If you'd like to stay connected, you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at Modern Manifestation, or you can head to our website at themodernmanifestation.com. Thanks again for joining me, and I will catch y'all in the next episode.